It's only halfway through 2025, yet Hollywood's Walk of Fame feels more like a corridor of shadows. Visionary director David Lynch is gone, leaving behind whispers of a secret project fans may never see. Legendary actor Gene Hackman slipped away with an unfinished memoir rumored to expose decades of untold truths. Four-time Grammy winner Roberta Flack took her final bow just as talk of a hidden duets album spread through studios. And that's not all. Names like Julian McMahon, Michael Madsen, and Bad Company's own Mick Ralphs vanished before their last acts could reach us. But behind each headline lies a story far stranger than any script. Lost footage, locked vaults, and unanswered questions that could rewrite everything we thought we knew. Stay with me, because the next few minutes will change the way you remember these icons and reveal what might still be waiting in the dark. When news broke that director David Lynch had slipped away in late January, it felt as though someone had unplugged the dream machine itself. Reports claim he left behind reels of raw footage for a hush-hush project codenamed Wisteria. Hours of surreal imagery sealed in a vault so secret, even his longtime producer couldn't confirm its location. Rumors suggest Apple TV Plus and Netflix have already begun a quiet tug-of-war to finish the cut. But insiders warn the material may never see daylight unless Lynch's estate agrees to release his famously cryptic editing notes. As fans piece together clues from archived interviews, one question rings louder each day. Did Lynch hide the real ending to Twin Peaks somewhere in those reels? Only weeks later, Hollywood lost another giant, two-time Oscar winner Gene Hackman. Ever since stepping out of the spotlight for A Quiet Life in Santa Fe, Hackman had been polishing what friends call a no-holds-barred memoir, one said to expose behind-the-scenes clashes from The French Connection to Unforgiven. The manuscript's existence is confirmed, its whereabouts are not. Publishing houses are already circling, but legal red tape and rumored non-disclosure clauses could bury the book for good. Adding to the mystery, Hackman recorded a final voiceover cameo for an indie western that now sits unfinished, the producer scrambling to secure his estate's blessing before audiences ever hear that unmistakable growl again. Two visionaries, two locked vaults of untold stories. Together, they leave a riddle bigger than any role they played or frame they shot. And as we push deeper into 2025, the list of unanswered questions is only getting longer. Because, as you're about to see, the year's heartbreak didn't end with its auteurs. The stage lights dimmed far beyond Hollywood this year. 2025 has been merciless to music, silencing voices that once felt immortal. Each departure left behind half-finished melodies, sealed-up master tapes, and mysteries still echoing through recording studios. Roberta Flack, the velvet-voiced architect of Killing Me Softly, slipped away on February 24. The family confirmed she'd faced ALS since 2022, but rumors suggest she also left an entire album of never-heard duets locked in Atlantic's vault. Tracks friends say pair her with legends ranging from Stevie Wonder to a digitally restored Donny Hathaway. Negotiations to finish and release the project are reportedly delicate, hinging on complex estate approvals. Just 4 months later, the baton fell from composer Lalo Schifrin's hand. At 93, the maestro behind the Mission Impossible riff died in Los Angeles on June 26th. But his legacy may be nowhere near complete. Archive hunters point to boxes of unreleased film cues, scores for shelved 70s thrillers and abandoned TV pilots, sitting in studio vaults waiting for restoration. Collector forums already buzz about labels jockeying for the rights, predicting a treasure trove series that could redefine Schifrin's catalog. Then came June 26th, A second heartbreak on the same day as Walter Scott Jr. of the Whispers lost his 6-month fight with cancer. He'd been sketching a 60th anniversary tour set list with his twin brother, Scotty, only to leave fans clinging to memories of Rocksteady and wondering whether those celebratory shows will ever take shape. 3 days earlier, guitar titan Mick Ralphs of Bad Company and Mott the Hoople died at 81 in Henley-on-Thames, just weeks before the band's long-overdue Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction this November. Insiders say the ceremony will now pivot into a tribute set featuring isolated Ralph solos the Hall's engineers are racing to remaster in time for a goosebump-inducing finale. Each of these legends closed their final set with unfinished business still humming in the background. Vault doors are rattling, estates are negotiating, and fans can almost hear the lost harmonies. But while the music world grieves, the camera keeps rolling, because on screens big and small, 2025's next blows were just as shocking. Hollywood hardly had time to exhale before the summer delivered 3 gut-punch losses, each one snatching away a familiar face while leaving a trail of half-finished work and unanswered questions. Julian McMahon, the leading man who wore danger like cologne, the Australian-born star of Nip Tuck and Charmed, died quietly on July 2nd, age 56, after a cancer fight he kept hidden even from close friends. Tributes poured in from co-stars, but fans fixated on his final project, a psychological thriller called The Surfer, slated to hit Netflix later this year. Reports claim the studio was scrambling to re-edit promotional material now that its second-billed actor can't join the press tour, a move insiders say could delay release or spur an Oscar season push in his honor. Rumors suggest McMahon also recorded voiceover pickups for a future Marvel crossover, which, if true, could mean one last appearance as Dr. Doom lies in Disney's vault, waiting on his estate's approval. Michael Madsen, Hollywood's gravel-voiced outlaw, gone at 67. Just one day before McMahon's passing, Reservoir Dogs icon Michael Madsen was found unresponsive at his Malibu home. Authorities ruled cardiac arrest. Behind the headlines swirls a darker story. The Sun reports he'd reached out for financial help and was ready for rehab after an August 2024 domestic battery arrest and years of addiction battles. Friends say Madsen left 18 unreleased indie films in various stages of production, plus a raw poetry manuscript titled Tears for My Father. Whether those projects see daylight now hinges on tangled financing and, according to one producer, a mountain of unpaid residuals. Until then, the legend of Mr. Blonde ends on a cliffhanger worthy of Tarantino himself. Michelle Trachtenberg, from child star to silenced screenwriter. When the Buffy and Gossip Girl favorite died on February 26th at just 39, early reports offered no clear cause. 2 months later, New York's medical examiner cited complications from diabetes. Her family still objects to an autopsy. Yet the most surprising revelation came afterward. People and other outlets confirmed she had completed a screenplay called Toy Monster, praised by producer Casey Tebow as one of the best I've ever read, but dismissed by studios that couldn't see past her teen idol image. Now, industry whispers say an angel investor is funding the film in her memory, potentially turning Trachtenberg posthumously into the breakout writer she always wanted to be. 3 very different journeys, all cut short within months. Vaults full of footage, manuscripts, and music videos are suddenly someone else's responsibility, and the world is left wondering which pieces will surface and which will stay in the dark. But the shockwaves didn't stop with marquee names. Cult favorites and classic TV legends felt the sting next. The headlines kept rolling, this time for the names you didn't always see on billboards, but whose faces and voices lived rent-free in our collective memory. Kenneth Colley, the imperial officer fans rooted for. The British stage veteran who gave Admiral Pyatt his icy charm in Star Wars bowed out on June 30 at age 87. He was the only Imperial ever invited back for a second film, a testament to fan demand. Rumors suggest he'd quietly recorded lines for an unannounced open-world Star Wars game just weeks before a fall that sent him to the hospital, but Lucasfilm has kept any files under hyperspace lock and key. Rick Hurst, Hazard County's most lovable deputy. Deputy Cletus was due to greet fans at Cooter's Place over the July 4 weekend. Instead, memorial flowers covered his table after he died on June 26 at 79. Friends revealed he'd been compiling behind-the-scenes tapes for a grassroots Dukes documentary, footage now sitting in his son Ryan's garage while producers scramble to secure music rights. Lynn Hamilton, the quiet force behind Primetime's progress. Best remembered as Donna on Sanford and Son and Miss Verdi on The Waltons, Hamilton passed June 19th at 95. The family found dozens of handwritten journals chronicling her civil rights theater work in 60s Chicago. Historians are already courting the estate to digitize the pages for the Schomburg Center. Jim Shooter, the firebrand who dragged comics into the blockbuster age. Marvel's controversial 1980s editor-in-chief died on June 30th, leaving an industry still divided over his iron-fisted style. Reports claim he'd nearly finished a tell-all graphic memoir and was negotiating to finally publish his long-lost crossover, Schism, canceled when Defiant Comics collapsed in '94. Whether the pages ever reach printing presses now depends on a tangle of creditors and creator rights clauses he once helped invent. Maureen Hingert, Hollywood's first Sri Lankan starlet. The one-time Miss Universe runner-up who danced through The King and I faded from the spotlight decades ago, yet her June 29th death at 88 reignited fascination. Archivists say a color screen test of hers, long thought lost, surfaced in a Pasadena attic last year. Collectors whisper that a restoration deal is brewing, positioning her for a posthumous curtain call she never saw coming. From a secret Star Wars cameo to a dusty reel of Technicolor dance steps, each of these cult legends left more than memories. They left mysteries begging to be solved. But buckle up, because the scandals waiting in our next chapter make even these untold tales feel tame. The year's most gripping plot twists came from personalities who never played by the rules and kept audiences guessing even in their final hours. Jimmy Swaggart once reached 2 million living rooms a night, then watched his empire crumble after motel photos exposed sins he could never fully outrun. 3 decades later, he died on July 1 at 90, still preaching on his self-built Sun Life network and drawing both worshippers and critics who say the original scandal rewired American televangelism for good. Sophia Hutchins, Caitlyn Jenner's razor-sharp manager and confidant, was speeding along a Malibu ridge on July 2 when her ATV clipped a Mazda and plunged 350 feet into a ravine. She was 29. Reports claim cameras had already filmed early scenes for a Hulu doc about her business empire. That project is now paused indefinitely while insurers sift through liability clauses. Kylie Page, the viral adult film star who jump-cut from Brazzers sets to a cameo on Selling Sunset, was found dead at home on June 25. She was just 28. No cause has been released, but her passing has reignited calls for industry-wide mental health safeguards, with performance flooding social media under the hashtag #MoreThanPixels. Hip-hop choreographer Dave Scott, whose kinetic moves powered You Got Served and Step Up 2, died June 16 at 52. Friends say he'd been editing a masterclass series called Rhythm DNA. The footage now sits on 3 hard drives that producers hope to finish and stream later this year, turning his last rehearsal into a posthumous encore. Ananda Lewis, the fearless MTV VJ who once convinced teens to talk politics on live TV, lost her breast cancer fight on July 11th at 52. In her final IG Live, she admitted, "Dodging mammograms was the mistake that cost me time," a raw confession now pinned atop countless awareness posts. And Britain's outspoken queen of clean, Kim Woodburn, bowed out June 16 at 83 after a swift illness. Even while bedridden, insiders say she was dictating chapters for an updated memoir that promised to settle a few reality TV scores. Manuscript status? Unknown. From fallen pulpits to cliff edge crashes, from viral hashtags to hidden hard drives, these mavericks leave behind unfinished business as compelling as any headline. But after a season this ruthless, one question lingers. What uncut gems and hard-learned warnings are still waiting to surface? In just 6 months, 2025 has rewritten the meaning of unfinished. Authors like David Lynch and Gene Hackman leave reels of raw dreams and a memoir no one can find. Roberta Flack's silenced voice still lingers on a rumored vault of duets. Guitar hero Mick Ralphs missed his own Rock Hall crowning by a heartbeat. And screen icons, from Julian McMahon's last thriller to Michael Madsen's stack of unseen indies, left projects flickering in limbo. Even cult favorites and renegades, such as Kenneth Coley, Jimmy Swaggart, Sophia Hutchins, and Ananda Lewis, exit with mysteries packed in journals, hard drives, and dusty studio shelves. Taken together, their stories pose a challenge. How many unreleased chapters are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone, maybe you, to demand their release? Because history isn't just what makes the front page. It's the voiceovers locked in a vault, the film cue never mastered, the memoir trapped in legal red tape. So as the credits roll on this video, ask yourself, which lost tape, hidden manuscript, or unfinished track should see daylight first? And why? Drop your pick in the comments. One passionate community can turn rumor into reality, push a studio to open the vault, or convince an estate to share its secrets. The final act of 2025's Fallen Legends hasn't been written yet. Together, we might just give it the ending it deserves.